Everyone, it's my pleasure to introduce Abby today. She's such a talented, creative young lady. She has been taking Chinese for quite some time in her life, and through her journey of studying Chinese, she come up with Chinese flashcards. This is the flashcards that will help students to study Chinese characters. It's a pleasure to work with her, to be her guiding line, and I'm here to present Abby and her project.
Thanks for coming. So despite the fact that I've been studying Chinese all my life, with several different teachers and textbooks, it was not until this year that I realized how many aspects of the language I was not exposed to. Astounded that such basic and interesting parts of the language are often overlooked in Chinese language learning, I decided I wanted to somehow make this more well known. So with these goals in mind, I had to choose one of the many directions I could take. I wanted to dive deeper into the culture and language, help others to do that, but also do it in a different and engaging way. I grew up learning characters the same way Chinese students generally learn them, through repetition. I think this is why many Chinese language learners are discouraged, because they don't understand what they're really writing. This is where radicals and pictographs come into play. I love Chinese characters because they're like puzzles, and I wanted others to see that. They aren't simply strokes and lines, they represent pictures and ideas. The 214 radicals, or root words, are most like Latin root words for those of you who aren't familiar. For example, the radical I have up here is the radical co for math. Once you know this, you can, without knowing the meaning of the next two words, you can know they have something to do with the math. And then it's similar with pictographs. That's the word shan for mountain. So you can see how it originally came from the picture of a mountain. So I knew I wanted to do Chinese, and I knew I wanted to visually show the relationship between characters and their meanings. But I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it. Ford, my English teacher in 9th grade, showed me a children's book by an author named Christoph Niemann, who had done exactly what I wanted to do. This inspired me to also write a book. However, as I began thinking of storylines and characters, I began to like the ideas less and less. After reading many books about writing for children, I realized that a book wasn't such a great idea. The two reasons were that, A, it would take a really long time to write a book, and I only had 6 months, and in order to write a book, I felt like I had to have a truly unique idea, and I didn't have one, and I didn't want to force one. So, since there were so many Chinese children's books out there, I knew I had to do something that wasn't already out there. So, after I had decided the children's book, I visited China, which was a huge turning point in my project. I visited my old school in Beijing and sat in on many classes. While I was there, I realized that flashcards were really, really effective with the students. So that's when I decided to do flashcards. I looked on the internet and I looked in bookstores everywhere, from Chinatown to China to the US, and couldn't really find exactly what I wanted to do. So that's when I knew that it was probably a good idea. No bookstores or anything had really showed the radicals on top of the pictures and really showed how exactly they were like the pictures, and no bookstores had done it with photographs. So that's when I had to start my process. Here's a picture of me with my IE when I lived in China, and just getting ideas from people who are native speakers and really understood the language. My first part was to research, and I did a ton of research, which took a really, really long time. But then I developed an idea. I had to take the pictures, format the cards, and then finally print the cards. This brings me to my challenges. I'm a huge procrastinator, so everything I did took twice as long as it should have. I spent a lot of time researching, which I shouldn't, because I guess once I found what I needed to research, I kept finding really interesting things. I picked a topic I was really interested in, so it was hard for me to stay on track and kind of stop looking at other things. once I found the idea, I kind of underestimated how much time each part would take. I didn't realize that I would have to do several different pictures before I found one picture I wanted. And I didn't realize that printing and formatting the cards would take so long. And I wasn't as familiar with Photoshop as I thought I would be. So I guess every part of the process took twice as long as I thought it would. But I gained a lot of skills and knowledge throughout the entire thing. I really know so much more about the Chinese culture and language than I began. I learned a lot about Photoshop, digital photography, the whole printing process, which I got to do myself. The woman from the printing place actually allowed me to do that, which was great. I learned a lot about graphic design and how kind of tedious it is. I learned that I can complete a project of this magnitude. I've never really focused on one thing for 6 months, and that was kind of a big step for me. It's the gateway to future endeavors. You know, I'm definitely going to pursue Chinese and possibly do other flashcards or something related. And more importantly, it solidified my interest in Chinese. I know that I can spend 6 months doing this and not tire of it. So that was kind of a big learning experience. Just some of my pictures began like this, and then eventually came to that. So I took huge steps in, I guess, digital photography and kind of formatting that I wouldn't have really realized. As for future plans, I'm definitely going to pursue Chinese. I want to continue with the flashcards because I'm not completely happy with every single one of them. I'm going to try to maybe perfect those and then possibly try to market them. I'm not sure. I'm going to kind of figure that out. But then flashcards, I might do another set because these show the original radicals, but once you've learned the radicals, for example, that one, it's really similar to the one for math, but it means enclosure, and then the one next to it means person. So it's like when you put a person inside of an enclosure, it means prisoner. So there's definitely more steps I can take with this project that I definitely want to do. I want to say thank you to so many people. First off, these are just a few of my models. I want to say thank you to my mentor who dealt with me through everything. I missed lots of deadlines and she kept faith in me and kept pushing me. It was really helpful. I also want to thank Mommy for introducing me to my mentor and kind of helping me with my original radical learning. I also want to thank Ford, who gave me the book that inspired my entire project. Rita Hagerman for being the printer. Devin Parks for dealing with me. All my models and friends who were helpful when I had breakdowns. And then my outside consultant, who's not here, she's in Vermont, but Du Hong. I also want to thank the Ross School for kind of giving me this opportunity, and my mom for being my best critic, and really, it wouldn't be possible without you. So, thank you.